Hi everyone. Okay, I know it's been a while. I know it's been like over 2 weeks now that I haven't posted a video. I did post part 2 of the vlog. It was like a mini travel vlog, but I wasn't proud of the video, so I deleted it, and I wanna feel proud with what I create. But today we are going to talk about Norwegian Wood. I have many thoughts on this book. I could go on and on and on. However, so I'm gonna do pros and cons, right, of this book. So let's talk about the pros first. I think that the writing style was really good. I loved. I was also listening to like other reviews on YouTube about the book. One of the people said that they found themselves kind of like moving through the words kind of like swiftly. Like it was very lyrical. I think that's a word. It was very lyrical. Like, even though this book is for me, I feel like the book is pretty thick for me. I don't like big books. I find myself kind of abandoning books that are really big because it does, for me, like I get really bored. I feel like this book is a little less than 400 pages, and I somehow just finished this. I mean, it did take me 2 weeks, but I was reading it slowly. I didn't even realize how fast I was also moving, even though I was reading it slowly. Like every time I would sit down and read it, I would read like 20 to 30 pages at just like, I don't know where the time would go. Quotes were amazing. I loved the quotes. It never got boring, which I think that literally this kind of reminds me of like Catcher in the Rye, but it's a less autobiographical, where everything happens but nothing at the same time. But like there is like no plot, but like a lot. When I say a lot, I mean a lot happens. For me, there actually were twists and turns. Some of them were so disturbing, and some of them were just, I don't know. It was eventful. I did write this in my Goodreads review, but it did have a massive impact on me. I kept, like, there were days where I would just, like, kind of randomly think about the book. Would kind of give you, like, a small backstory of what this is about. Basically, it's about this guy named, what's his name? Toru Watanabe. He recalls on his first love with a girl named Naoko. Here's the song Norwegian Wood by the Beatles. If you look up the lyrics for Norwegian Wood by the Beatles, it's basically about this guy, and he goes to this girl's house and they sleep together, and then the next morning she's like, I have work and you have to leave. So it was all about this kind of like how she used him for gratification without saying the S word, sorry mom. But yeah, it gives you that vibe in this book as well, which is why it's called Norwegian Wood. I don't know. Let me talk about the negatives of this book. There are gonna be spoilers in here. I don't know who is watching, but click off if you don't want any spoilers. Also, the weird part about this is that my mom literally recommended me to read this book, even though she hasn't read it. She was like, oh, I heard that Murakami is a good author, and I was like, oh, let me just pick out Norwegian Wood. It was once again, it was eventful. This book has its own twists and turns, which I literally did not see coming. But we'll get onto this. Now, first, I think that most of the characters I found really annoying. Really, really annoying. I found Watanabe to be, at the start, I felt like he was more tolerable. He was more relatable. But then, like, the other half of the book, his short responses to, like, everyone was just so annoying. Like, he would just respond with like 2 words, or he'd be like, oh boy, like, oh my god, shut up, please. I had a problem with the women in the book. Were just, he loves loves the figure of a woman's body. You know, don't we all? Don't we all? I don't know how to say this without, because I know my family watches, you know, my videos, but, and my friends watch this, and I don't know who else is watching this, who knows me, but what's another word for it? Sexual. It's very sexual, which I have no problem with, but I don't know how to say. He loves gratification. He loves intercourse. He loves all of that. Okay, this is a big spoiler. Big spoiler. Log off. Don't watch the rest of this video if you're. This is because this is a huge spoiler in the book. Basically, Naoko, oh my god, his first love. She has like. She basically goes to this mental, it's not exactly like a mental institution, but it's more of like where people who have mental health issues and who have like trauma or like PTSD, they go into this like mini community. It's like a mini community where they all help each other. Naoko has this like helper who has also dealt with a lot of PTSD and a lot of trauma, and that woman, her name is Reiko. She recalls on her, you know, past, and she tells Watanabe about, you know, what happened and why she's in, you know, the mental, I'm just gonna call it a mental institution. Her backstory was really gross. It was, I don't know how to feel about this. I don't want to be mean. She's in a mental institution for a reason. You know, she's not really mentally well, but she goes on to tell us how this 13-year-old student of hers at the time apparently casted a spell on her. Was her like lesbian awakening, right? You know where I'm going with this? It was like a full-on 20 pages of like this 13-year-old girl going down on a 31-year-old woman, and it was very descriptive. Now, I don't want to be like, okay, now there is no reason for Murakami to sexualize a 13-year-old. Like, there was no reason for Murakami to write a 13-year-old girl being just very promiscuous. Another problem I have with this book is that Watanabe is, I think, such a boring character. He has no depth at all. He is so boring. He's like nothing going for him, right? Most of the women in this book, he has intercourse with, and I'm just like, there is like nothing special about him, but somehow every woman in the book is like drawn to him and is like, I want you, Watanabe. He is bored and he is boring himself, and he's just, oh my god. His view on what love really is very messed up, and you know, it's like, this isn't love. This is just like you being bored, you being horny. All of those things are okay. It's just like, stop ruining other women's lives because you're bored. You know what I mean? Ugh. The audacity that he had. And towards the end, oh my actual god, I hated how the book ended. Another big spoiler, right? Naoko dies, and Reiko goes back to visit Watanabe to see, you know, to like catch up or whatever, and they have intercourse towards the end of the book. Even though Watanabe is also in a somewhat relationship with another woman named Midori. And Reiko is literally like in her late 30s. After they have intercourse, right? She goes back home, and then he calls Midori, and he confesses like his love for her, but it doesn't feel genuine because you literally just had it with someone else. Like, all I thought going into this book was, I thought it was just gonna be about this guy who recalls on his first love. This book was also very incredibly sad. Like, I keep thinking about this book, and I will keep thinking about this book. Somehow don't get how this is his most famous work. It gave me very much Catcher in the Rye energy, but Catcher in the Rye is way better. After reading Catcher in the Rye, that changed the way I view the world. It changed the way I view everyone. It was just the way it changed. It also kind of opened me to like different genres, books I would read. You know, before reading Catcher in the Rye, I would literally only read like romance novels, but now I'm reading like, and now I'm kind of branching out, I guess. You know, I'm not just reading romance and like crime novels, you know. So this is kind of more, I don't know what this is. Is this like realism? I think that's what it is. It's not autobiographical because Murakami even himself said that his life is way boring than this. This is, oh my god, also this is definitely through a man's point of view, because it really does give, this was definitely written by a man. It's written, men written all over this book, okay? It's like the over-sexualization of women, 13-year-old girls in this book. Like, it was weird. It was weird. You know, I hated some of the parts. I hated reading what the 13-year-old girl did to Reiko. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about this book. It was good. It was more impactful. I really liked how the story was told. Literally, there was not one character that I actually liked. So most of them were annoying. Most of them, oh my god, Midori was so annoying. She was very much interested in what he did, you know, at night. I don't know. I don't want to use those words on YouTube because I know my parents are watching. Hi mom, hi dad, hi dad. Could go into more detail, you know, about the characters, but I feel like I could rant about that. And I have to also, throughout this book, I was updating my cousin on this, and she was like, at the start she didn't want to read it, she didn't seem interested, and at the end she was like, wow, I'm gonna read this. So hopefully she will pick this up. Hopefully, what I wanted to talk about this book, I wanted to update, you know, people, but my cousin was the only one who was interested. That's all I have to say, and I will be back again. Don't take my word for it. Oh yeah, oh my god, okay, make sure to follow my Goodreads because all of my reviews are on there. They are quite short though, but you know, if people want me to go into more detail on stuff, I will do that, as I say, you know. But yes, hope you enjoyed, and I hope hope I encourage you to read this book. And yeah, bye.